I have an extension cord with the end open connected to wires from my extension cord brown to white, blue to black, and green to green. Make sure they're in there. I'm going to plug it in on the other end, which is a 3-way. Okay, so that's off. This is low intensity, middle, high intensity. Okay, and I'll put it on low and you can see the 3 colors, cold to warmer. I'll turn it off and go to high. Goes from warmer, cooler, cold, colder. And have it unplugged. When this is mounted up underneath the cabinet, you can turn this up to 100 degrees, so you could have it almost facing out toward the kitchen, down, and then you can have it facing a little bit backwards. That's kind of unique. These little connectors are included in the unit, and they also include this little wire holder to keep it from bending. And you're going to just insert it in here and screw it on the back. And there's a little hole here. Get all the wires inside. And this is going to lock on here. So you have to make sure this is tight. You see it's loose, but also the instructions, you want these screw heads to be facing upward, because that way it'll be pretty level or below the horizontal here. If you go in any other direction, you see it's going to poke up and you're not going to be able to get a flush mount. So that has to be on here this way. So you have to tighten that screw up and put some type of lock thing. Also, the screw that's included here, when I took it out and put it back in, wasn't enough to keep this, there's this on here and pressure to keep this from sliding. So I'm adding a little washer, and I tested it already. If I put a little washer on here under the screw head and I screw this in there, it'll hold this in place better than just without the screw. Yeah, so even if it did slide, it can't get over this head now, so it stays in place. It is nice that they included the extra parts. I wasn't sure when I read the instructions online if they were going to include. In my case, I'm going into an under counter. I'm not going to use these sinks here. I'm going to use these long screws, pull these little tabs off. A little button that comes out, and you put the screw in here and screw it in. That's really nice. You don't really have to mark it or anything. You just put this in place and start screwing. I need to make sure in mind that that doesn't go through the bottom shelf in the cabinets. I ended up cutting off these connectors that came with the LED lights. My stranded wire didn't seem to want to stay in the hole correctly, and I didn't feel like putting some solder on each one of them. I ended up cutting them off and using a single connector for each one of the wires. It gave me more room to fit inside the light housing also. I believe you can actually open up the LED light case to help you positioning these connectors back inside if you decide to keep them. I'm a DIY guy, not an electrician, and these little single connectors gave me a lot more room when I was trying to stuff the wires back inside of the LED light, and they are reusable. The ones, as I said, the ones that came with it are similar, but they just push in and they're supposed to lock. These actually have a clamp. As I got all the wires put in there and put the little door back on, you see the screws pointing up. I did turn them back down later on there so that would have a flush mount like I told you earlier. And there's the washer and the screw that'll keep that nice and secure. In our house, we have these boxes under the cabinets that house the power coming in, and had some previous lights that used these white cables, so I just decided to reuse all that. And the only thing I had to do was wire that white cable to the LED light. Let's give it a test. I'll show you later what the colors look like. The 3 color selectors on low and high brightness. And once I put the screw in the bottom, got the drill line up, I just eyeballed where it was going to fit into the middle of the cabinet and have to get a mark out or get a sheet template out. I really like that. And I'm just going to put those little plastic caps back over the hole where the screw went in. And then I screwed in these little clamps that hold the wire flush to the bottom of the counter. And I installed 3 more and finished it off. Got double thumbs up from the people in the house. I'll show you what it looks like. It's low light 3000K, high light 3000K. It's a yellowish light. Then I have low 3500 and high 3500. It's a little bit brighter in the middle, and then low 4000 and high 4000. That's the brightest one with a little bit of a blue tint.